Back in Thornton-le-Dale, there's always a bevy of beauties waiting for new blood to breathe some life into their old carburettors. And the latest to arrive from Derbyshire is a 1957 race car dropped off by enthusiast Douglas McLay.
Ex-racing car I rebuilt from a wreck I bought off the street in Edinburgh and completely disassembled it, reassembled it for racing. It's got a full race motor, 1650. So I started racing it in the MGA Championship in this country, and then later on I took it to the continent. Races all over Europe. I've raced it in Zandvoort, Zolder, the Nürburgring, even brought it back to Brands Hatch and did a race there with it. I raced it then until 1991. Been in store since then. I've kept it in lockup. In fact, I'm bringing another car down, which is a single-seater, which was the car I raced after this. But we've agreed on a reserve of 9.5, so we'll just have to see how it goes. But it'd be nice if someone did race it again.
Let's have a little nosy.
Douglas's other racer, a Terrapin, also looks like it needs an elongated pit stop.
He wants a bit of love, doesn't it? Guys that race about in these, I think they deserve a medal. No, it looks a complete death trap, doesn't it? It looks cobbled together, and it's not. That's how they are. It's got 100-mile-an-hour speedometer in it. I bet it'd go up that way. But, you know, them sort of speed and your bum's rubbing on the floor, it'd be exhilarating, wouldn't it? Yeah. No, I think it's wonderful. I think it's a fantastic bit of kit for the right person and the right environment, and that isn't me. But I suspect it's probably a market that's growing. So I think it'll tick somebody's box, won't it, for sure? My honest gut feeling's £3,000, but I think the guy's looking for more like double it. I think we might be up against it, to be honest.
Here we are then, BSA M21. I think it's just lovely. Not over-restored, just nice and usable. Yeah, she has a bit of compression there, look. Yeah, she'll be OK. She'll run lovely, she will. Plunger rear suspension, as you can see. Telly's on the front, so it'll run really nice. Nice, comfortable old bike.
At HQ, Derek's admiring a real reminder of bygone motoring.
Everybody loved AA men because they were the knights of the road. As a kid, those of us whose father had a car and was in the AA organisation, which a lot of people were, because you've got to bear in mind that in these days, cars were a bit more unreliable than what they are now, mainly because they weren't maintained. That's the problem. Most people couldn't afford servicing and that. They'd do it themselves, and they weren't maybe that much good, all that good at it. So consequently, they joined RAC or AA. In them days, it wasn't to get you home. You got home on your own, but they got you going most of the time, and they commanded very similar respect to the police, you know. They were the saviour, there's no doubt about it, and the tradition goes back many, many years in warning motorists of problems up ahead. And I think there was an unwritten rule, and that is that if an AA man didn't salute to you, there was a problem up the road there, and generally a speed trap. I can see it going into a museum, a collection, because they're lovely collector's pieces, no question about it. You get certain vehicles that you put them amongst a bunch of similar vehicles, and there's always one stands out, and this is it. It's iconic, simple as that. And look at that. What about that? The old phone. Oh, nothing else. Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. What a bit of kit. But there's some age about that on its own, isn't there? I personally think the bike will fetch £6,000 to £7,000. Can't be dear. Love it to bits. I think it's absolutely great. There's an MGA out here, and it's cheap. It's a racing car, basically, with all the top-notch mechanics, apparently. You know, people look at this type of thing and they say it's got this engine and that gearbox and the diff's been uprated and this, that and the other and all that going on. And I sort of look at it and think, yeah, it probably has, isn't it? And it's a probably purposeful bit of kit, but it's still bloody ugly. It's just a knocked about, well-used racing car, isn't it? Which is great if that's what you want, but it does nothing for me. Forevermore now, all that's going to be is a track car that you're going to use and abuse. And I suppose an awful lot of guys out there want that, so that's fine, isn't it? I don't. I think it's horrible. I like a nice, well-turned-out, presented car that you treat with a bit of respect, and you don't go out there racing and sort of almost hoping it's going to be smashed up. You know, people say they've got no fear. I don't think it's anything to do with fear. They've got no brains. So there you go. Someone will buy it.
Now in 66 is the 1957 MGA. Jack, we better start. Sorry, Father just wants to interject.
Full race everything. Looks awful. I should think it goes like stink.
Right.
Purposeful bit of kit.
Right. Anyway, there you are. Let's face it, whichever way you look on it, it's 2/3 of the way there, isn't it? So, at 9,005, 96, 97, 98, 99, £10,000 bid. At 10,000.
You're out, are you?
10,100. 10,001. At £10,100.
No good. That was short and sweet, yeah. Some you win, some you lose.
10,004. You're out, Meg. You're back in. 10,5, 10,6. At 10,600. At £10,600 then. It's going. Fair warning at 10,600. Sold.
With the MG reaching a decent price, its sale just needs owner Duncan's clearance.
I'm just ringing. Your bid's been accepted, so it was just to let you know we'll be sending the invoice over shortly.
Next up, it's another British-built racer with pedigree.
Little Terrapin Racer. Oh, this has got some interesting history. Yeah, all sorts of bits and pieces with it. Interesting little machine, this. There we go. I'm sure if you've been looking at it, you know exactly what you're buying. So let's fire off then, please. 6,000, please, and the start and away. At 6,000 then, 6 1/4 then, £6,500. 6 3/4. At 6 3/4 there, £7,000. At 7,000 there, 7-1. 7-2, 7-3, £7,300 bid. At 7,003, 4, £7,400 and all done. Sold at 7-4. Sold.
The Terrapin will hopefully reconquer the track. But if it breaks down, there's always the Automobile Association to come out and get you started.
1961 BSA combination AA motorbike and sidecar. Now there you are, that's a rare bit of kit. Look at that. What a machine that is, isn't it? Look, all the period bits and pieces are rare there with it. There you are. Someone might ask you how they break down, but other than that, straight in and away you go. 4,750 then. £5,000 says Jack at £5,000. 5,250 on the net. At 5,500, 5,500, 750, 5,750, 5,750. Are we all done? £6,000. He tells me at 6,000. At 6,000 then, and 250. 6,250. At 6,250. Provision at 6,250.
At a little under its asking price, a deal was done. And this rare survivor is off to a motor museum in Lancashire.
Blackpool. Got a big warehouse up there full of these things.
Derek thought the AA bike was an extreme rarity. But it turns out they may have something in common with London buses. Look what's just turned up. Robert Bickerton is selling 4 bikes.
They're all runners, and that one's fairly simple to start running. I don't even think you need to turn the ignition on. I think it's just...
And one, resplendent in AA livery with sidecar, is a virtual identical twin to the bike Derek had been admiring. Robert owned that one too.
We tend to trade with old Rovers, and we went to see a gentleman's old Rover, and he was giving up, and he had a number of bikes in his shed which he wanted to sell as a job lot.
Quite unusual though, aren't they?
Well, I've only ever seen 2, and they were the 2 that this guy had in his shed. The interesting thing about this one as well is that it's got the AA tank and a few bits and pieces that were in there, presumably, for the last 40-odd years. The Bantam, we've not been able to prove its provenance. So it's a Bantam in AA livery, whereas this one, this will have been used down the road, helping people when they were broken down.
Once again, a rare AA combo is evoking lorry loads of memories.
Yeah, in the 50s and 60s, yeah, they used to be fairly popular around this way. There's RAC and AA. They used to have their own AA boxes at the side of the road.
What's in the box here, then?
I mean, in them days, you could mend the cars. You didn't have to have a computer. You know, you had a set of plugs, a set of points, a fan belt, fuel pump, probably. That's all you needed. You'd keep it going. I think the main problem would be running out of fuel. I mean, every car had a jack, every car had a spare wheel. You could work on them. So his basic toolkit would be in this.
And it turns out that heavy toolkit could be handy in more ways than one.
With combinations, they're a whole different style of riding a bike. You don't lean, of course, but you do actually steer them. Now, the worry with combinations is that you're OK when you're going, if you're going around a corner a little bit fast or a bend or whatever, a bit of a tight turn, shall we say. You're OK when you go that way because it can't tip over because that's there. It's when you go the other way. And if you've got no weight in there, before you know where you are, that wheel will lift and you're over. So if that wasn't full of tools, you'd have to put like 100 weight of cement in there or something like that. So it would have been a real safe bike to ride. And if they couldn't get you going at the side of the road, then they would go off to the local garage and pick up what you needed and come back and fit it. In these days, they were a lifesaver at times.
There is a lot more work to be done on the vehicle than I thought there would be. It's my own fault, I didn't go and look at it. It's 250 miles to where it was auctioned. So, but well, let's face it, it's not an Aston Martin, is it, or an E-Type, so it can't be that hard, can it?
Duncan Roan Clark is deviating from his favourite hobby of restoring tractors to embark on a project that will occupy his spare time for the next few years. Yes, years. The plan is to convert the MGA Racer back into a road car.
I ended up paying 10.6 plus all the fees. I was quite happy with that, really, until it arrived and I saw it in the flesh. Getting it off the trailer was a bit of a problem because it was full of old tyres and other bits and pieces, and the floor had given out. It was one less job, actually, because there's no floor in the one side anymore, and it had to come out anyway. So, literally, I haven't really spent a great deal of time on it because I've been working on a tractor. The things that I'm doing on the MGA are just messing about around the edges, really, at the moment. I need to really get to grips with it, which I will do in the next 4 or 5 years, probably. There isn't really anything that doesn't need some sort of attention. It's been set up for racing, different brakes, different differential, racing cams, so it is quite a difficult project, but it will be good when it's done. I've done a few bits and pieces around the engine. I haven't started it yet. That's going to be the next thing, is to get it started. I'm chasing electrical faults at the moment. The actual wiring is all racing wiring, so it's all been rewired. The original MGA is the bit in the middle, the tin bit, and everything else is fiberglass, and the dents and scratches and everything are all original. Obviously was Old English white originally. The interior is as good as the rest of the car, to be honest. For saving weight, one half of the dashboard's been taken out. I don't think my wife will be too interested in going in it, so I don't think I'll need to worry too much about leather seats. I will be putting 2 seats back, one for me probably and one for the dog. What I intend to do with it is to get it roadworthy, something I can go down the pub in, but to leave the look of it as it is, basically. It might not be perfect, but at least it will be a lot better than it is here. So it'll keep me busy, keep me out of trouble. Whether it will be any good on the road, who knows? It will just be nice to think, yeah, you brought that back to life. Nobody else will want it, but I'll enjoy it. So, because it's scrap, basically you can do what you like with it. If it really annoys me, it'll end up as a bit of wall art.
What,
you know,
in your house?
No. My wife wouldn't allow the wall art in the house, but it can go into one of my garages. Or if I end up getting divorced because of all this stuff that I keep buying, then it can go in the house.
Well, ring with news. You must have bought one of the cheapest E-types there is today, haven't you? You bought a good car there, yeah. He's accepted your 28. Well, it's as well it's a good car, otherwise you'd be in trouble, wouldn't you? Very busy over here, very busy. I can't be watching you all the time.
The second BSA AA bike and sidecar is about to go under the hammer.
Yeah, it's lovely, isn't it? Yeah, right period little piece, isn't it? They don't float my boat sidecars, I never did. One wheel too many or one too few.
The 1961 BSA M21, in AA. And he said RAC, then I was with RAC this week, and then he said RAC. Oh, AA combination livery. There we are. We sold one last sale or the sale before. So anyway, without further ado, it's on sale now at £6,000. 6.1, 6.2, 6.3, 6.4, 6.5, 6.6, 6.7, 6.8, 6.9, 7,000. Are we all there at 7,001 and 2? We all finished at 7.2 and fair warning. 7.2, thank you for your bids, ladies and gentlemen.
The identical twin AA bike has found a new home and will be back with its sibling. It was bought by the same museum who purchased the other one. Last up is the Solo AA bike.
1967 BSA Bantam D10, 1,400 there, it's provisional at 1,004. At £1,500, 1,600 back in again at 1,006. Fair warning at 1,600. Sold at £1,600.
This Knight of the Road won't be alone either. It's going to an avid collector of motorbikes.